Yeah, it'd be weird like that. There's some shit because it's like, because I'm like I said, I'm somebody who isn't superstitious. I'm somebody who doesn't believe in supernatural or anything. At the same time, though, I understand that there's some shit that science and philosophy and theories can't really explain right now, and they may never have an explanation for them. But I'm
Yeah,
like, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's something super crazy, you know,
exactly.
going on behind this. It's just like, to me, I'm very comfortable, and this is like, and this is like my whole view is like on spirituality and shit like that. Because people be like, "Oh, you're an atheist, so that means like you're certain that there's nothing else going on." I'm like, no, I mean, I'm pretty confident that this is the only thing, but I'm like, even if there is something else going on, I just kind of shrug my shoulders and go, I'll deal with it when I get there.
So
You
you're
know what I'm
not
saying?
agnostic, you're atheist specifically?
I'm atheist specifically in that I don't believe there's anything. I don't have any confidence that there even could be anything. I'm very much okay with the idea of there being nothing.
Well,
It's
hey,
fine.
let's drink to there being anything. You want to? You should have started this with the St. Patty's Day shot. Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, I wish I would have known earlier because I would have went and got some more alcohol. But
Are you
because like
dry?
what'd you say?
You're dry right now. Like you don't have anything.
I've been dry since like when I finished. I told you when I had that drink and shit. Like as soon as you texted me, I went and I poured up that drink, and that was the last drink I had. And then I was
Oh,
waiting for you to, and then I was waiting for you to hit me back. And by the time we got back started, the liquor store that's next to me is already closed.
mm.
So I mean, but I mean, I smoked or whatever. It's like I'm not exactly dry. I'm not exactly sober.
You're like here, drink through the phone.
Drink through this, drink it through the phone. Um, but yeah, man. Yeah, like
Shit.
it's yeah. I'm just very, yeah. I think that's what it is that like, because to me, I look at it in two parts. Like when people talk about like religion and spirituality, like you have the text of the shit, right? Which is just like the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, which it's easy to point out contradictions or hypocrisies or stuff that's just pure fantasy and myth making, right? It's easy to pick that shit apart.
Yeah.
What's less easy to pick apart is the existential shit of why do we exist? What is the proper way to live? Where do these values and ideas and shit come from? There's no one single answer for that. And I acknowledge the fact that science and all these different theories and disciplines can't answer all those things either. But here's the other thing. The other side of this beyond the text is the spirit of the shit, right? Which is, what is it that makes you feel most comfortable? What is it that helps you to get up in the morning? For some people, it helps them get up in the morning knowing that there's one God that's, pulling the strings or whatever the fuck. Or for some other people, it makes them feel good knowing that that they astrology, you know what I'm saying? That makes them feel good and gives them a reason to get up and be like, oh, that's just because of blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
Me, what actually brings me comfort is the idea that there's nothing else beyond this life. And it's not even that my life has been free of struggle or free of pain and vice and or anxiety and shit. But for whatever reason, because of my personality and because of my experiences and whatever, the way my brain works or whatever, I'm comfortable with just kind of shrugging my shoulders and being like, I don't give a fuck, whatever. What's going on, Hugo?
So would it make you more uncomfortable to think that there's an afterlife or
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. I don't like the idea of there being an afterlife because to me, I don't see consciousness. I'm not really clinging to what we understand as consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there's plenty of things that I enjoy in this life. I'm in no rush to die, but I'm also not in any rush to. Um, I'm also not necessarily like clinging to life. Like, no, I have to, extend my life as much as possible. Since the last days, where like, I'm even when I'm just holding on by a fucking thread, but oh, I'm still here and I'm 113 years old and I can't even wipe my own ass or chew my own food. It's like, what is that? You know?
yeah. I mean, I can say speaking from the perspective of somebody who again, I'll put it this way, haters be damned, like I consider myself a Christian because it's easier than going down the rabbit hole of explaining how the term Christianity didn't exist in the Bible or in the New Testament. You know what I mean? Like, I'll call myself
Catholic and Protestant and Baptist and Presbyterian and Methodist, none of those words are in the Bible either.
I'm not one for all of these labels, but I do believe that it's true that Jesus Christ, the Nazarene, that he came down, that he was God incarnate. I do believe that. And I believe that there are reasons to believe that, right? That we could talk about on another day. I'm not really an evangelist. I don't feel the need to convert people or any of that shit. But
that word's not in the Bible either.
Right. So, but like speaking from that perspective, I can say that the thought of dying and then going to heaven and then spending an eternity either with God or with your family members, whatever, that is a terrifying idea. And it's a weird thought it's incomprehensible. So, and that's okay.
Essentially.
Even if you believe that that's what's going to happen, or even if you believe that is, available to you or whatever. So,
dude, the opposite is incomprehensible. That's the thing about all of this shit, right? Is that even my example of there being nothing, because obviously I can't imagine not having consciousness. You literally can't imagine that. It's incomprehensible because our very existence is defined by having this awareness, this consciousness, this cognition and shit. So the thing is that like all of these things, all of these theories, all of these religions, all of these shits are incomprehensible inherently. And there's not really any one which I find to be especially desirable. But the thing is that like, I guess I see it more as like freedom of like true liberation, of what true liberation is, which is that the only way to not get fucked over in the game is to just not be aware of the game at all.
Or to not be in any outcome.
Oh, say that again, to cut out.
To not be invested in any outcome.
Exactly. And there's no easier way to not be invested in the outcome of something if you're not even aware that it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's whole other side of this coin, whatever. Like, I remember one time I was attending Cottonwood Church. Have you heard of that? It's like a mega church in
I don't think so.
I guess it's in Los Alamitos. And Cottonwood Church is like a big kind of multi-denominational church. They have thousands of members. Like, they have the main pastor there is white, but like the vice president pastor, if you will, is black. And it's a good church. Like, it's cool for just going to contemplate things and converse with people, whatever. But at the time, I was basically auditioning to play drums on their worship band.
Yeah.
And their worship leader made me take like some kind of a test. Like, it was like they wanted to quiz me on what I believed. And the test was like, what do you believe? Like, who do you believe will go to heaven? Like, what do you believe about the afterlife and stuff? And they basically were trying to get me to say that if you didn't believe in God or Christ as God, that you were going to hell.
Yeah.
And while I do believe that your entry into heaven is contingent on you understanding who God is and understanding who to profess as God, I don't know if I believe that everybody who doesn't know that automatically goes to hell. Those are two different things, in my opinion.
All right.
So I kind of told him, like, hey, I don't know how to answer this question. And he was like, well, you can't be on the worship team unless you answer it the way that we want you to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I know the way that you want me to answer it, and I know what you're getting at. But if you actually look at doctrine, technically speaking, this isn't in the Bible. Like,
yeah, exactly. That gatekeeping shit.
It doesn't, Christ never said, I mean, he did say that, those who believe in me will not perish.
Yes.
But he didn't say, South American tribal people who had no idea about Christianity were automatically going to suffer in hell for eternity.
Yes,
right? That's
exactly.
and
Exactly.
so my approach was, well, I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here. So
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, God could save anybody. And there are stories of people having near-death experiences where they saw themselves in hell, and then next thing you know, there was a light, and God came to them and pulled them up out of it. So if you look at
Yeah.
those stories, well, those people died, and right? So and
Mm-hmm.
God supposedly saved them anyway. So it's like you're kind of implying that that in fact, like the old paradox, can God create something so big, like a stone so big he can't lift it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that God really can't lift that stone, that he really couldn't pull someone up out of the supposed hell that he created or didn't create or whatever? Like,
Yes.
come on, dude. Like this is not for us to decide, and nor does it have anything
Yes.
to do with me wanting to play drums to worship the God that we all believe in.